Welcome back, I'm Tesseradical, and it's time for part 2 of my coverage of forged ladders. If you haven't seen part 1, it basically shows an easy way that I found to make a ladder, so you can check that out if you want. Now, I know this topic is getting a little boring, but after this I'm going to do some Halo 4 videos. Just to,
mix things up a little.
Today we'll be looking at my techniques on replacement and duplication. That means changing the size of your ladder and making more of them. So, let's get started. Okay, let's pretend this is your map. Now the first thing you have to know is, it's fabulous. The second thing you need to know is how much room you're going to have to work in. If you're working indoors, you may have to do a little bit of surgery around your ladder. To do that, you set the spawn time to 180, go to Advanced, and set Place at Start to False. Then start a new round. That gives you 3 minutes to get in and get out before it comes back.
Round over.
If you do that to all the objects the ladder is touching, you'll have a nice workspace. However, since we're outside right now, we can just use the sky. What I like to do is take a block with a nice flat texture, like the 4x4 tall, phase it a little bit behind the ladder, and then just lift it straight up. Turn rotation snap off, and do the same thing to the ladder. Make sure you only adjust the height with the right and left bumpers so you don't lose that distance. You might have a little trouble with that if you have one of those controllers where the analog stick gets stuck, but if you fiddle with it, it should fix itself. So, lift up the blocks and use the flat part of the other piece to make them about the same height. You don't have to be exact, you just have to be close. And let's see if it still works. Great. Now I need to choose 2 new objects to replace it with. I usually use one of these. Rotate it the way you want, and put the center of your object directly in line with the center of your ladder, like so. You're going to need one on both sides and one in the middle. Okay, what we're trying to do here is preserve the distance between these 2 blocks. That's what makes this whole thing work, so we're going to take this one in the middle here, set it to Fixed Physics, and push it flat up against the inner wall of the ladder, using coordinates. Now that we got that, we're going to surgically remove it just like before.
Round over.
Then do the other side. When you push it into the wall, you have to be careful that it doesn't jump around too much. Just take your time and do it the right way. You can bring the other one back by going to Advanced and changing the minimum count to the highest number. I'm gonna delete these, but if you think you made a mistake, you can do the surgery thing. And finally, we bring the outer ones in. It works! Okay, now you can set it to phased and bring it back down. I usually make my ladders a little higher than that, just so you don't, jump straight up like that. You just kind of float down. And if I have enough money, I like to try and make it look nice too, like a real ladder. You can make some pretty complex ladders doing it this way. Not that you'd want to, but, it's an option. Wait, what? There's more of this shit? Awesome! Duplication is a lot like replacement, except instead of pushing a flat object up against the wall, you're using a very big object like a 2x4. Then it's simply a matter of putting the intended piece up against the big object and doing the same for the other side. It makes sense when you think about it. And that's all there is to it. Duplication is a lot easier in Halo 4 because you can use magnets. Replacement, on the other hand, is pretty much the same. Phew, that was a long one. I'm not doing another one of those for a while. Can we all agree that in the next Halo game they should let us have actual ladders and forge instead of these hoppity hop hop ones? I mean, okay, you can forge one where you walk up it, but again, it's one of those manual nudging things, and I haven't gotten those to work once. So, quite frankly, I ain't having that shit! Once again, I would like to thank TEDMAP for discovering forge ladders and giving me something to figure out. Also, if you want to try making that realistic ladder, you can check out Forge Universal's videos. And don't forget, you can find me on evachalo.webs.com, where we play games every Saturday. I'll see you next time.